Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to the latest episode of Predictions with your friend and host, Pop Culture Junkie. Today we are going to be talking about the WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view coming up this Sunday, February 17th, 2019, live in Houston, Texas, my backyard. Unfortunately, I will not be attending the show live, but we'll be watching it on the WWE Network along with all of you. And if you want to follow me on Twitter at PopCultureJunk2, I will be live tweeting throughout the entire show. So the past few weeks of WWE wrestling programming has been interesting, I guess is the safest word to use. It's been very confusing and strange. Let's flash back to December when we were told by Shane, Vince, Stephanie, and Triple H that you are now the authority. As in us, we, the WWE Universe, the fans, we are now in charge. We're the authority. We're going to decide who's defending titles, who's going to be a champion, who's going to be in matches. And we're getting the same old stuff still. But on top of that, as easy as things are, we've addressed this many times before, as easy as it is to book wrestling storylines, wrestling shows, etc., WWE, why? Why do you like a challenge? I like a challenge, you know? I like to challenge myself. I like to see, hey, maybe I can do a better workout tomorrow than I did last time. Hey, maybe I can do a better job of cleaning the house this week than I did yesterday because I had other things to do. That's a challenge. But WWE is like, you know what? The fans are crazy about this and this, but I want to do this. And even though the fans are the ones paying to get in and watch this stuff and buy the merch, I'm still going to push this instead because that's what I want to see. Screw everyone else. And that's really the mentality we've been dealing with for a long time. It boggles the mind. I don't understand. Main story, of course, going on with the whole Becky Lynch WrestleMania title opportunity, as they're calling it, of course. What are they doing? I don't know. I don't get it. But that's for another discussion. We're going to talk about the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view coming up this Sunday. We've got several matches that have been advertised already. Probably going to have at least one surprise match show up somewhere, possibly, who knows. And we may have some changes to a particular match, or maybe more, who knows. But let's get into the actual match card. So starting off with pre-show or kickoff, I'm not sure what it's going to be called at this time. We always have a kickoff show, though, of course. The kickoff show is going to feature the WWE Cruiserweight title championship match, champion Buddy Murphy versus Akira Tozawa. These guys seem to always get put on the opening kickoff or pre-show. It just never fails. Unless you're a real diehard 205 Live viewer, I don't think you're going to really be that invested in it. My pick for this is going to be Buddy Murphy retaining the title and continuing on to be champion. I'm not sure when we're going to get a real major title change with the Cruiserweight title. Who knows? I say just put it back on Raw and SmackDown. It doesn't need its own show. It should just be a part of the titles on the main shows. Why not? So going into the main card, we've got Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin. One more time. However, they did just announce recently that this is now going to be a no disqualification match. So that's something at least. And I think really they just need to add something to it because we don't want to see this match. We don't need it. Who cares? It means nothing. There's nothing on the line. Neither of them get a title shot. Neither of them get any kind of opportunities at something. Nothing. It means nothing. They're just putting them on to put them on. And I'd rather see Drew McIntyre put into this versus Braun than Baron Corbin. But I'm pretty sure we're going to see Drew McIntyre make a appearance now that's going to be a no DQ match. He's probably going to interfere and help out, of course. But my pick for the winner is going to be Braun Strowman. Even though Braun is completely watered down, he is no longer the monster among men. It's just not. It's gone. It's done. Okay? They've totally butchered his character like they do so many others. But Braun Strowman, I see getting the win here. Next up, we got the WWE Intercontinental title handicap match. Bobby Lashley defending the title with Lio Rush versus Finn Balor. So Finn Balor versus the 2-on-1 scenario. I'm going to go with Bobby Lashley getting the win here. I think Finn Balor should win, but I'm going to pick Bobby Lashley to retain. I think they are trying to keep both Braun and Bobby Lashley strong, with the potential that they may have to put one of those two into the Universal title match if Seth Rollins is unable to actually go into the match. There's still rumors about him possibly being injured or at least recovering from something. So that's just rumors. I don't know anything for sure, but I think that's what they're going to probably try to plan for, is just in case they need someone else to put into that spot. Next up, we have the WWE Tag Team SmackDown Tag Team title match. Shane and Miz versus the Usos. And we have some news to share on that in a little bit, but we're going to first just talk about the match. So Shane and Miz, this is their first pay-per-view title defense, and I'm going to go with Shane and Miz. I think they're going to probably end up dropping the titles sometime between now and Fastlane, or maybe at Fastlane they drop the titles, which will inevitably lead to their feud, which will culminate at WrestleMania, which it just screams that that's going to happen. I don't see how this is going to end any other way. All teams break up and end up feuding. So I think that's going to be the easy prediction there. So I'm going to go with Shane and Miz retaining the titles. We have the WWE Raw Women's title match. Ronda Rousey defending against Ruby Riott. Charlotte Flair has already said that she will be sitting ringside. I'm predicting Ronda Rousey is going to get the win here. And we're going to see a little bit of possible teasing interference from Charlotte. There's also the possibility that Becky Lynch may make an appearance because she's not booked for any matches either. So there's a possibility she may show up. But so far we just know for sure that Charlotte Flair is going to be sitting at ringside during that matchup. All right, next up we have the Women's Tag Team Title Elimination Chamber match. This is for the, as they call it, the new Women's Tag Team titles, as in this is the first time ever, which they are not. WWE previously had Women's Tag Team Champions throughout the 80s. One of my favorite tag teams of all time, the Jumping Bomb Angels, were an amazing tag team. Go watch them. You can find them on YouTube or find them on the network probably. They were a great tag team, and they were tag team champions. But this is for the new Women's Tag Team Championship titles that they are now introducing. So they have had matches leading up to this for spots to qualify on Raw. SmackDown, they just got to say, we're in the chamber. Raw, they had to have qualifying matches for whatever reason. Actually, no, somebody sent out a tweet to Lance Storm on Twitter saying, hey, why are they having qualifying matches on Raw, but SmackDown women don't have to do that. They just get to declare they're in the match. And Lance Storm just replied, because it's an extra hour of Raw. You got to fill the time, right? Now we had a match on Raw and SmackDown with the 3 teams for each show where they had a triple threat match. And the loser of the match, their team had to start the matchup in the chamber. So on Raw, Bayley and Sasha lost, so they're going to be the first 2 teams in there. And then Sonya and Mandy are from SmackDown, and they lost the match, so they're going to be in the chamber starting off. So all in all, the tag teams involved, we have Bayley and Sasha Banks versus Liv Morgan and Sarah Logan of the Riot Squad versus the Iconics versus Carmella and Naomi, the Glow Friends, and then Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, and Nia Jax and Tamina. Now, the final 2 teams I'm predicting are going to come down to Nia Jax and Tamina versus Bayley and Sasha. Now, here's the thing. This is a tag team elimination chamber match, and we've only had one of those previously for the men's tag titles a couple years ago. The rule is when one team member is pinned, the whole team is eliminated. So it's not like you have to go through all the members of the or the participants of the match. You don't have to pin both partners. You have to just pin one person and that team is eliminated. I get it. It saves time, but I think you've had other matches before where it's like a tag team table match and you had to put both opponents through tables. They've kind of shortened that lately now where anytime they do have a tag team table match, it's just one person and the match is over. But I think it's better if you have, hey, have a battle royal where you have to eliminate both partners. It makes no sense to me. Oh, look around, your partner was eliminated, so now you're out too. Like, I like it better just have everyone get pinned. But I'm sure they're doing it for time. So my prediction is going to be the final 2 will be Bayley and Sasha versus Nia and Tamina, and I'm predicting it's going to be Nia Jax and Tamina getting the win, and they're going to get the titles. And it does make sense because you want the baby faces to chase the titles, so you'll have Bayley and Sasha chasing after the titles. And there's still a little bit of a rumor right now that Sasha may not even be able to wrestle because she has not really wrestled the last 2 weeks on Raw. She's been out there, but she's really not done a lot. Bayley's mainly been the one doing the wrestling for her team, so we're not even sure if Sasha's going to be able to do much in the chamber or not. We'll see. All right, then finally we've got the main event, the WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match. Champion Daniel Bryan versus Kofi Kingston versus Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles versus Jeff Hardy versus Randy Orton. And now, of course, Kofi Kingston is replacing Mustafa Ali, who is unable to be in the chamber match. He had qualified, but he is injured, so he's not able to be a participant anymore. We had a great gauntlet match on SmackDown this past week with Kofi pinning everybody up until AJ Styles, and it was a really good match. Great. Didn't care for the ending, obviously. Okay, AJ Styles was waiting for Orton to be the last participant, and we get a RKO from behind, and Orton literally, wins in 2 seconds, which was a joke in my opinion. That was just a really bad way to kill the momentum that the gauntlet match had been going on. So last to enter will be Orton because he won that match. That was the whole point of the gauntlet match, was you got to be the last one to enter into the chamber, which is almost fitting considering he was the last person to be in this gauntlet match, and he wins by attacking someone from behind. So the last two in the match itself, I'm going to say is going to be Daniel Bryan and Jeff Hardy. Now, who's going to be the winner? I'm predicting Daniel Bryan is going to retain. I don't see why they would introduce Daniel Bryan with this evil vegan character and then give him that brand new title belt and then just have him drop the title at the very first pay-per-view following that. So, yeah, I don't see him dropping the belt before Mania, if he does even, lose it at Mania. So I'm going to say Daniel Bryan is going to retain and still be your vegan hemp-carrying title holder, whatever that belt is made out of. So, yeah, Daniel Bryan will retain and be still WWE champion. So, interesting thing to point out about this show. We've got a lot of people not on the show. They're not booked in matches. They're not even booked for an appearance. Now, of course, I don't think everybody should be on every pay-per-view. Okay, this is not the Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania. Okay, this is not one of the big four. So it's fine that not everyone is on all the pay-per-views. That's fine. But we do have some key characters that are not booked on this show. We've got the Universal Champion, Brock Lesnar, SmackDown Women's Champion, Asuka, who has not been seen since the Rumble, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, the new Raw Tag Champs, The Revival, United States Champ, R-Truth, Alexa Bliss, Becky Lynch, Elias, Rusev, Shinsuke, Bobby Roode, and Chad Gable. I mean, so many people that have had a lot of stuff on Raw and SmackDown lately, and they're not on the show. It's kind of strange. All right, so there we have it. That is my predictions for the 2019 WWE Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. Remember to follow me on Twitter, PopCultureJunk2. I'll be live tweeting all throughout the show. And then following the show, I will be posting a tweet out there to let everyone know that I will be posting my recap, spoiler, and results video later on that evening. And if you want to get a shout-out on that video, just send me a reply, share topics or questions, and you'll get a shout-out on that video. All right, so let's go on to some WWE news and rumors. WWE Hall of Famer Pedro Morales passed away at the age of 76 after suffering from Parkinson's disease. He is a former WWF champion and the first ever Triple Crown champion. So rest in peace, legend. Lana was on Lillian Garcia's podcast recently complaining about her and Rusev being pulled off the next season of Total Divas. A recent poll by E! Showed they were not well received. Lana was quoted saying, "There's so many things in edit that I was royally screwed over. They take someone saying something from one thing and put it in there. In edit, they can do whatever they want, and that's out of your control. If they want to make me more annoying and I have to play that annoying girl, they'll do that." Well, Lana, it is reality TV, duh. So I'm not exactly sure what she expected from that. It is a reality TV program. It's been well documented that most of the stuff on the show is all scripted, and they tell them, hey, this is the direction we want this storyline to go on the show because it might gel well with the wrestling storylines, etc. And that's all it is reality TV. It's not real. It is just reality TV, okay? But we have learned that Ronda Rousey and Sonya Deville will be joining the cast for the next season of Total Divas, so they're really hoping that adding Ronda in there will get the ratings to get a big jump. StillRealToUs.com has reported that there has been talks between WWE and Eva Marie about a possible return. Now, she had very little wrestling moments on the main roster and then a brief run in NXT, but was more known for prominently being featured on Total Divas. She and Mandy did have talks about forming a team on there, so who knows if that's a possibility that they bring back, and you could have Mandy Rose and Eva Marie if they even bring her back. But that is all just up in the air right now. TMZ has reported that Jimmy Uso was arrested after a drunken dispute with cops in Detroit. Jimmy and his wife Naomi were pulled over near downtown Detroit after cops say Naomi was driving the wrong direction on a one-way street. According to a police source, their 2018 Dodge Journey reeked of booze, so they ordered Naomi out of the car. While the cop spoke to Naomi, Jimmy got out of the car, took off his shirt and jacket, and squared up like he wanted to fight. Jimmy ultimately settled down and complied with their commands, was handcuffed and arrested for disorderly conduct and obstruction. He was taken to jail and did post bond. Now, this was recent news, and that could definitely affect this weekend's pay-per-view, because who knows if he's going to still be in the match, but we'll see. We don't know anything else as far as this arrest goes. So hopefully they square that away and figure out what happened there. But yeah, so who knows? I don't think they're going to pull Jimmy from the tag match that he and Jay have against Miz and Shane. But there is a slight possibility that still could happen with, WWE does not like to have a lot of bad press. So we will see what happens from there. All right, before we wrap things up, let's get to some questions I had folks send me on Twitter. If you ever want to send me any questions to bring up or discuss on the predictions or the recap videos, just follow me on Twitter at PopCultureJunk2. All right, let's see here. We have Kevin Haig asking, hey, PCJ, 2 questions for you. What do you think about the current Becky suspension and replaced by Charlotte storyline? And what do you think should be done to improve Raw? Well, number one, I don't like it. It's unnecessary. I mean, if Becky Lynch in real life legitimately is injured, unable to wrestle, then fine. She has to have someone else, take that spot if that was the legit, reason. But we know that this is all just part of the story, so it makes no sense. There's no reason to have Charlotte involved in this. It's just we don't have anywhere else to put Charlotte, so she's got to be part of this matchup. And I hate it. I don't like it. It does not make any sense. Becky Lynch versus Ronda was just fine the way it is, okay? Becky won the Rumble. Ronda retained the title at Rumble against Sasha. Just have the two of them feud for the next couple of months until Mania. And that's it. Just have them cut promos on each other. Okay, you don't even have to have them wrestling in matches. I mean, we still get to see Ronda in matches at times. Becky, doesn't even need to wrestle. She's already got a title shot, so just let her ride it through. So yeah, I don't like it at all. I think Charlotte could easily just be in a one-on-one match against Asuka for the women's SmackDown title, and hopefully Asuka retains because I want her to keep that belt. They could also put her in a fatal 4-way, triple threat, whatever. They could do anything. They could put Charlotte in the women's battle royal. Why not? Okay, she's on the show no matter what. Then okay. What do I think should be done to improve Raw? I think they just need to let their talent cut their own promos, get rid of the scripts, go back to bullet points, and the writers need to get with it with their storylines. They just have not done a very good job. Josh Floberg, what is your favorite Elimination Chamber match ever? And what match do you think can steal the show? Well, for this show, the match that could steal the show, I think it's probably going to end up being the women's tag title match. I think that one will probably be very good. The men's Elimination Chamber match could be entertaining as well. You got a lot of great talent there. It really, again, depends on what all they're willing to let them do. So I'm going to say either one of the chamber matches should definitely steal the show. What is my favorite Elimination Chamber match ever? I still think the original one with Shawn Michaels, RVD, Triple H, Jericho, Kane, Booker T. I think that was still, holds up to be, one of the best of all time. Another favorite of mine would be the one in 2009. That was the one where Edge, he lost the WWE title earlier in the night, and then he took, I think he took Kofi Kingston's spot. I think it was Kofi, it could be somebody else, but he attacks him as he's making his way to the chamber, and he gets into the chamber match and ends up winning the World Heavyweight title. I thought that was awesome. Samantha S. asked, the topic of the future of the women's tag division starting at Elimination Chamber. So yeah, where are we going with this as far as women's tag titles? Are they going to actually push the titles and take them serious? I mean, we see what they've done with the men's titles. They've got 2 men's tag team championships. Now they have a single women's tag title, which could be on either show. So based on this, shouldn't they take the Raw and SmackDown men's titles and combine them and just have one sole tag team champion? I think they should. Okay, there's nothing wrong with going. I mean, if you want to have everyone on the show again, then forget about this Raw versus SmackDown stuff. Okay, it's done and over with. Okay, you tried it a couple times, it didn't work, and that's why you keep on having to put everyone on the same pay-per-view. So let's just go back to basics. Let's go back to one tag title, one world title. You could have the U.S. and the Intercontinental titles. That's fine. You could bring back, or bring back the Cruiserweight title onto the main show. That's fine. But yeah, you don't need multiple champions of the same kind of titles. Okay, how many times are we going to see the same tag title matches repeatedly. Okay, we already see the Riot Squad versus Sasha and Bailey and Natalya in different variations, or maybe they'll change out Ember Moon, or maybe they'll change out Ronda, or we see that all the time. And then on SmackDown, how many times do we see Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville versus Naomi and someone else, or whoever they want to rotate? But there's not really any tag teams, except for now we have the Iconics, and now we've got Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, who've really just kind of been lingering ever since they lost Paige, because Paige couldn't wrestle anymore. I'm really surprised we didn't have the Bella Twins announced as participants for this matchup. So, yeah, I'm not sure where they're going to go with this, and I don't have a lot of faith in it because we see what they've done with the men's tag titles. So, it's going to be interesting to see, and hopefully we do get some fresh matchups by them only having the one women's tag titles instead of a Raw and a SmackDown version. Okay, guys and gals, thanks so much for those questions. I appreciate it. Keep sending me questions and topics, and I will be posting my recap, spoiler, and results video on Sunday evening of the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view. And if you want to get a shout-out on that video and send me any questions or topics to discuss on there, do so. Well, guys, gals, I hope you enjoy the pay-per-view. Hope it's entertaining. I'll be very interesting to see where they go from here and what's going to happen following the fallout of this pay-per-view, because we still have one more pay-per-view after that. We got Fastlane, and then we've got WrestleMania, and it's going to be an interesting 2 months. Well, everyone, have a great day. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to y'all later. This is PCJ, your Pro Wrestling Junkie. I am signing out.